Ep03, the new Woodshire. The next episode here, we are now loading up. And we're going to continue off where we left off. Just wait for it to load up here. As you can see, the name New Woodshire BGA New Fruit. Again, this is just something I was just playing around with, modding and editing the map that was already done. Adjusted the BGA to hold a little bit more than the 50 or 500,000 that it had. It's like 1 million now it can hold. Just wanted to up it a little bit more for the larger farms, but yet not so much that it's like, insanely high. We're going to tab through to a couple of these things. Let's check the situation of our fields again. Okay, looks like, yes, we've got that field plowed and cultivated. We still have to plow number 2. And looks like number 4 is plowed and needs lime. Yes, we need to plow number 2. So that is what we were going to start with today. I believe we already did number 4, yes. As previously, I skipped ahead to the morning here at 6:30 a.m. according to the game. So we are at 1 speed. We're going to get as much done as we possibly can today. Got a little bit of damage on the plow. See in the bottom right corner above my speedometer, there's a little black square going plow 9.3, weight 6.3, and tractor 7%. That's actually the current amount of damage, from being used that I currently have. Let's turn on some lights. It's still early in the morning. Once we get our animals, because I believe the equipment, yes, you can see over there, there's blue pipes. We'll just take a quick trip over here. From purchasing that the previous day, we now have some blue pipes there. And this is chalked off. Yeah, there's some, let's clear that out for a second here. Make that smaller. Just go with the smoothing, so we get rid of some of the weeds. There we are. Same thing over here. Actually, that's pretty good. So you got some more pipe stuff over here. That'll be for the water for the troughs. So all the stuff arrived at 6 a.m. and by 10, I guess it'll be considered PM in the game time. It'll be finished, so I can actually get ready for animals and stuff the next day. So do I have that create fields turned? Okay, it looks like it's off. So if I lower it, it should not be create fields. Yep, perfect. So we're going to plow up this field and I guess look at what equipment here. Yeah, like I said, gonna plow up this field, look at some of the equipment that may need, like I think I might need to pick up something to do lime with. I think I got everything else for, like, fertilizing, spraying, but I don't think I have the equipment for liming. which makes you want to decide when we're done plowing and we go planting, what do we want to plant? Do we want to plant for cash crop this one time around? Or are we planting for the animals, so we need a feed, and then we just earn cash on the animal produce, like i.e. Sheep or wool, horses. In this case, we are would be purchasing horses and then keeping them for about like something like a 10-day cycle and selling them for profit. So that is something we can do. Or do we do cash crop a couple times and then purchase our animals? You know, maybe make this field that I'm plowing now a cash crop where you sell it, and the other two smaller fields we save up some, like, you know, for animal feed. I guess it'd be like, you know, our alfalfa. One more loop around, I think, or at least across the top here. Well, that's things we have to decide. What do you guys think? I've done lots of crash crops when I was playing this game and put a lot of time into it, but this will be, this of course, my first time streaming it. Now, what do we want? I like to do a little bit more with animals. I have not done enough animal stuff. Like, I've spent time going through maps, playing cash crops, start making a ton of money, getting all this big equipment. Then once I got the big equipment, start buying fields, and then I'm like, okay, what is there to do? I could save up some money and go with a crop that I haven't done. I do like cotton or something. I've never done cotton. I've never done potatoes. I've never done. It's just I tend to stick with the wheat, barley, oats. Actually, it's mostly wheat and barley. I flip between the two, and so I can have straw. And then I flip between canola and soybean just to make money. And that's about it. I recently, not that long ago, started corn, and I figured actually doing the kind of like chopped corn or silage, to put in a silage pit and stuff. So it's been kind of interesting. So I like to do a little bit more with animals and slowly build up. So I have a feeling, I think I'm going to make money off the wool and stuff like that. So let's do a couple crops of alfalfa. Once we got like some alfalfa saved up, it might be like 2 days worth of like alfalfa. Get some alfalfa saved up, then do like a large oat crop where we do all 3 fields with oats and straw. Put that aside. Yeah, we could do all 3 fields of alfalfa. Put that aside, then do all 3 fields of, like, you know, oats. So we can put aside the straw and oats. Get our horses and stuff. And then while we're using that stuff up, we do like a cash crop. And when we're starting to get low on stuff for the animals, we just do up the animals again. Do like alfalfa, oats, and whatnot. And we keep doing that. But how long will it take for us to either buy that field number 1 or save up to buy the BGA? Because if we save up money to buy the BGA, we could do, like, you know, during our cash crop time, maybe, yeah, perhaps we could do corn and stuff like that, but we need all the equipment. That's the thing. It takes a bit of time. Now, are we going to, how fast we can do this? Like, how many times can we do a cash crop to earn lots of money to buy the equipment we need? Or how long will it take for the animals to produce product and we earn that money? Like, we might only get, like, say, 10 to 20,000 for a load of wool, and it might take a few days for wool to produce, like that load, like a few days. So I think we're gonna have to fit some cash crops in there. Yes, we are gonna do the animals. We'll start with the sheep and horses. And I think when we go to move to the larger farm, and we buy the lot, and we start buying the fields around, especially when it comes to cash crops. Thinking, started kind of daydreaming thinking here. Okay, yeah. So yeah, if we do the cash crops, we'll need to balance between purchasing some larger equipment to get things done and purchasing new fields. I think once we get that field number 1, once we have enough of that, we should be able to actually start saving up money and getting some equipment. So, like equipment, i.e. bigger combine for some of the cash crops. Maybe even, because you can make a ton of money on potatoes and stuff. The thing is it takes so long to harvest because of how narrow the potato machinery is. If you want to go faster for making money faster, you get the cash crop, you go with something like canola, soybeans, wheat, and stuff like that. And then you harvest, gather all the straw that's left behind, and also sell that. But if we're doing animals, we need to set some aside for the animals. So horses take straw, sheep don't. I think if we go with, we'll find out for tomorrow. Since I'm not doing seasons, I don't have any seasons modding for the animals, which I have set up for this map. So things like, what is it? Changing the sheep from, like, just doing grass. Because I think in this particular case, I can't feed sheep alfalfa. So we'll find that out. If I need to do seasons, then I guess I will switch over to doing seasons. I may have to kind of start all over here. We'll see. We'll play this for a little bit the way it is. Maybe alfalfa become a cash crop for me. Well, on this particular map, there's still that new Braham grass, however you pronounce it. Basically, propagation grass. I almost think of it as more like seed grass rather than actual, like, grass. Oops, I picked the wrong button. I meant to lift up. Oops. Had my hand over by the side panel and meant to lift the equipment, but I hit the wrong one. See, I make mistakes. So, yep. Now I just gotta decide how we're going to do all this. That's the planning part. We can do anything we like. Okay, so that is plowed. And I believe, yeah, we did plow that last time, just never cultivated. So let's take this plow back. We'll get our cultivator. That's the little thing about this particular game is, at minimum, you have to plow. So like you plow, like typically real life, you plow if you need to, you cultivate to break up those big large plow chunks, and then you seed on the nice smooth ground. In the game here, at minimum, you need to plow and then you can seed. Or if you don't need to plow at the time, you can cultivate, then seed. Basically work the field, then seed. You don't need to do all 3 steps. I'm doing all 3 steps just because that's the way you should do it. This field needed plowing, so we did that. Now we're going to cultivate. And once we're done cultivating, we will seed. Cultivate field number 2 and number 4. So now that we've plowed, let's take a quick peek. Soil composition. Now it says needs lime, needs lime. So we need to lime everything. We still need to cultivate everything. So that's cultivated, and as you can see, I'm doing a strip of cultivating right there. We need to cultivate that. So we gotta cultivate, we gotta lime, and we gotta seed. Now, I could hire a worker and do it all for us, kind of thing there. But that hiring a worker costs money. I could use, what is that called here? Courseplay. Yeah, that was it. Courseplay. Where I think my Courseplay settings is, I'm actually not getting charged if I set up Courseplay. It's basically like hiring a worker, but I haven't set up a fee on it. Haven't got that far into it. Privately, when I was doing my own little personal games and stuff, I used Courseplay. I would just get a tractor going on the field, get the whole thing done while I'm doing a whole bunch of other stuff, because I plowed on, like, I made sure I had like something like almost 10 fields. I had number like 2 or 3 tractors going at once, things like that. But paying attention to my animals, stacking bales, if the harvester was going, I was trucking, loading, unloading the harvester while the harvester automatically went up and down the field, stuff like that for me. And then I would bounce back over, check my animals and stuff. Once, I loaded the truck up and brought it to like the grain bin, or I sold it or something, I would then switch over to like a baler if I was in like a wheat field or barley or something, or oats or something, and I would bale up some straw, or I'd bale up some grass, or just kept doing a whole bunch of stuff because I had lots of fields. I think though this time around I'm going to be a little bit small. What do you think? That way I can do this all myself instead. So if I do the hire worker, eventually if you actually take the time to figure it out, you actually lose quite a bit of money over time. It might cost $500 for the worker to cultivate the entire field. Okay, you do that 4 or 5, 6 times, you're starting to look at like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. Doesn't seem like much when you're selling a crop for like $70,000, but that 4 or 5, 6,000, sometimes I've actually been like, short that amount of money just to buy a piece of equipment, and still have some money left over to, hire a worker, or pay for gas, or pay for fertilizer, or something like that. So, yeah. Right now, let's see, where are we still at here? It's been a little bit since I hopped on my game here. We are at a $100,000 loan, and we have 53,000 cash still. So this is keeping me with a little bit of money, doing this myself. do this. This third person. Yeah, I can do this like this. Yeah, this is what it's like in the cab here. Going up and down the field. I find it quite relaxing. Yeah, back up. I love the game. You can back up while the equipment's still in the ground. Silly thing. Okay. You can see behind you all the dust and dirt. Gotta love it. The only thing missing during like a harvest time for say like alfalfa especially is in my parents' field. When I was going up and down the field, there would be a flock of seagulls flying right across, like, you know, like hovering above. And whenever we cut like a bit of the alfalfa down, it would expose the ground, and the seagulls would pounce on like mice and stuff that were all in the field. Kind of fun. So it was lots of fun. Oh, I'm missing stuff. Engineer. See, you can easily miss stuff when you're driving in the field. It's never perfect. Lower it down and drive. There you go. As the fields get bigger, it takes longer to do things with smaller equipment. For anybody new, you're probably wondering why I have this small cultivator. Well, turn around and I will show you in the bank. Off to the menu for purchasing stuff. Equipment, there is a horsepower requirement. The bigger the equipment, the more horsepower you need. So in this case, we are looking at cultivators. I have this, a Polymag 300. 3 meters wide, I can go 15 kilometers an hour, it requires 100 horsepower. This one here, still 3 meters wide, but suddenly requires 120. These are kind of cultivators slash seeders. Now you're starting to get into, oh look, 300 horsepower, 400 horsepower, 500, 500. There's another 500. Here's a smaller one. This one's 90, 3 meters, 12 meters, 480. So you can see you need larger tractors. Ooh, I could up to, see, I could pick this one up 240. My tractor is 261. That's 5 meters. That's too big. That's 250 for 10. Might be able to pull that. Any kind of uphill might be a struggle. Here's a 7 for 180. Here's 175. So there's a couple possibilities I can upgrade to make things go faster for cultivating. But if I upgrade my seeder to one of those no-till type seeders instead, then I won't need a cultivator because I can at least just plow and then direct seed on the whenever I need to plow. Or I don't need to actually cultivate if I'm not plowing. I just start seeding directly over top the previous field, after harvest. Right now, I've got a seeder that won't work unless I've either plowed or cultivated. So those are some people. Some people might be like, "Oh, I'm tired of cultivating, and I just want to get my seeding done and over with." In actual fact, or not conversation, service, blah, 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 conservationist. There we are. Sorry, I had to stop my mouth. Blah. Conservationist. To conserve your land, you actually end up with a lot of times the topsoil, the first, guess basically few inches of the soil that you're working with is some of the best stuff for growing in. A lot of times you're planting seed maybe an inch down or something, less or more depending on the crop. So that's your growth soil. That's some of the best stuff you need to keep. Now, every time you cultivate, plow, or whatever, you're breaking that up, you have what's called erosion. You actually, like wind and rain and everything, can wash that stuff away. Now, if you kind of leave it alone and don't break it up, less chance, and it stays hard packed, less chance of wind and rain and stuff washing it away. Hence why we now have things called direct seed drills, which actually will punch through that hard, crusty ground to plant the seed, which is still great growing. It's just kind of packed by Mother Nature. And you can, punch through the hard, crusty ground, plant your seeds, and grow the crop, keeping that topsoil from blowing away. So those were called direct seed drills. They will directly seed without any prior preparation. Now, if you don't have drills that are designed for that, then yes, you have to plow, you have to cultivate, you have to do whatever. You prepare the soil, soften it up so that you can plant the seeds with the seed drills, or planter with root crops, whatever. Basically, planting your crop, whether it's seeds, whether it's root crops, whether it's whatever crop you're doing. So for this field, I've plowed it. I don't actually have to cultivate it, but real life, you cultivate. Break up those little large chunks. The plowed rows look like they're potato rows planted or whatever, but they're not. It's just the way it is. So you can see, like, instead of dips and valleys of like the planted rows, see a close look, you can actually see it's nice and smoothed out. That's what you want. That's what you're trying to make, a nice smooth field so that you can plant your crops. It's like I really want to up my speed to like 5 times speed to get things done, but we got so much to do today. Well, actually, I could actually increase the speed. Let's try it out. See where we get today. At 5. At 5. See if it's more like real life where it takes all day. So we're not doing animals today. It'll either be tomorrow or the next we'll pick up animals. we are going to see. And oh, thank you for following, little Giordi. I hope you've enjoyed what you've been watching. Now, of course, this is our Farming Simulator 19. This will be considered, I guess, like episode 3 of my streams. I stream on. I haven't set up a schedule yet for my Farming Simulator 19. I've set up my schedule for my World of Warcraft streams, which I will be streaming later on tonight. This here is if I actually can get like a bunch of this done, I'll probably set up on other days my Farming Simulator 19s. If you're liking it. Now, I am no expert on farming. I grew up on a farm. I know what my parents did. I barely know what my neighbors did because some of them had cattle, some of them didn't. When I was really young, 10 or younger, I think it was younger, but my parents had cows, but my dad felt it was just too much work for the few cows that he had. I think he had maybe 45 head of cattle, like not very many. It just seemed like it was probably too much work. So he sold all his cows, and just strictly stayed a crop farmer. So some of the crops that I've dealt with and worked with have been like sunflowers, alfalfa hay, seed alfalfa, wheat, barley, kind of some different varieties of that. What else was there over time? I know we've had something different. Canola. I think we had canola one time. Maybe once. I don't know if it worked out well. Can't remember. We've never done anything like the soybeans. We've never done any of those specialty crops. Generally speaking, we stuck with things like the wheat, barleys, a couple times sunflowers. We sold to the Spitz plant. So if you ever ate like a bag, this was years ago though, but if you ever eat some sunflower seeds from like the bag called Spitz, at one point years ago, my parents grew actually some sunflowers that went to that Spitz plant. So that was like kind of cool. I can't remember how many years we did that. 3, 4, maybe, I don't know, or a couple or something. But yeah, we did that at least once or twice. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I remember most of the time here, my parents always had an alfalfa crop, alfalfa hay. Well, we called it alfalfa hay. It's a legume type crop, and kind of acts like a clover, but it's not a clover. It's actually great feed for cows and also horses and stuff that want to have hay. Basically, after you cut it down like you would cut down and make windrows of like grass or something like that, or straw or whatnot, you let it dry in the sun for a little bit. Maybe even like, well, we have what we called as a fluffer. You can drive over top of it, and it kind of unpacks, like, when windrow settles, it kind of starts getting flatter and back down. But we had a fluffer that lifted up, and kind of like, it would be like, adding like air to like a cake mix or pancake mix, making it like light and fluffy and let it rise. Well, the fluffer is just this little tool that kind of lifts up the hay to allow air to breathe through it. Or we end up using I guess it would be like a rake with our little 710 John Deere, and we would rake 2 rows together. And the point is, it didn't really save time because, our rows that we had was basically, well, we had a field set like with border dikes. Border dikes are just row mounds of dirt in a long straight line, so that in between each row of dirt is about 50 feet. Now that 50 feet, when we cut down with the swather to make windrows, it would end up being 4 rows for each kind of section between each border dike. So those 4 rows, if we rake them together, we'd rake 2 rows together. Now you can go up and down the field with a baler 4 times, or you can go up and down the field with the tractor twice, and then go up and down the field with the baler twice. Same amount of time. So we weren't saving time. What we were doing was, if we had any potential rain or something that happened while we were waiting for that to dry, we would then go over with the rake 2 rows together, and what it would do is it would rake 2 and flip them over so that the bottom became exposed to the top. Now, of course, it made one big row, but it allowed the hay to be flipped over so that the bottom can dry out. Bottom became the top, top became the bottom. You get the idea. So, and then we'd bale it all up, and I would grab our versatile 150 tractor. It's one of those reversible type tractors, but for us, we left it permanently in the reverse. And what would be considered actually for a normal tractor, it's one of those bi-pivot tractors that pivots in the middle. The cab would be on the back half and the engine would be on the front half. But since we had it permanently reversed, the cab was, I consider the cab the front and the engine the back. That's just, and the arms of, I guess it'd be like for a front loader, would be off the back, or what I call the front. And that's where we would attach our bale grabber, which is basically about, I think it was 5 tines on the bottom sticking straight out, and then it was like a little bit of a wall with a little bit of a hook kind of going over top. I can kind of show what I mean. Oh, wrong. This menu. So for baling technology, here. Nope, it was in the front loaders. It would be like this. This would be a lot taller. It would be a little bit longer with like 5 tines. And then we'd have like another like 4 or 5 hooks that would literally sink down into the bale. So you'd have 5 hooks here, hook like this, and it would lift the bale like this. This one here is designed for, I guess it'd be like 2 bales. Of course, the one I had was designed for like 1 bale. See, it would look more like this if you had tines on the bottom like that. And of course, the top bar would have something like this with the hooks. I hope I explained it right, but that's what we had for the Versatile 150. And of course, just like the tractors or the front loaders in the game here, you could drop off, I guess, like the bale spikes and put on a bucket with the arms. We had that. That's all the tractor ever did. We never put it back. We never used it for anything else. It was strictly just our, basically, kind of like, I guess we called it our front loader. Should call it a back loader, but everybody knows what a backhoe is, or back loader or something like that. But yeah, it was our bale stacker. The size of it, though, we could stack like large square bales. 3 high was the maximum we could get. We're getting a tree in the view. Give me just a little bit. I'm driving kind of wonky, aren't I? Missing little bits of the ground. Oh well, whatever. Nobody's perfect, but that's okay. You just do your best. Yeah, if you Google up a versatile 150, you should be able to see it. Now, I haven't been able to Google up the bale spike specifically for that, but that's what the design was, the way I explained it, what we had. Maybe one day eventually I might find like a picture or something like that. But any of the pictures of that day and age and time, well, we didn't have digital cameras then. It's actually all actual pictures taken with old cameras and film. If anybody wants to look that up, they don't know what that is. And you had to get it developed, etc., etc., etc. So I'd have to find something, try to scan it, etc. But as long as you see, like, if you know what a front loader is from like a game or real life, just basically put the loading arms on the back of the tractor instead of the front. I find you can actually see better because there's no engine, there's nothing blocking your view. You could actually look pretty much straight down. Okay, well, this looks like it's cultivated up enough. Yeah, a couple little spots missing. That is okay. It was at least plowed in those spots. Yeah, we're at like getting up there on damage and use. Well, there's always a little bit of damage from using equipment. You have to think there's, if you ever hit like, you know, like a rock in real life, you could actually break one of the cultivator heads off or something like that there. But sometimes, like, well, you can't see the rock because it's under the ground just slightly. Or the wheels on the thing. Let's see. So on this one, you can see at the very back, right here, there's discs. Well, those discs spin, so that means there's a bearing joint that you'd have to actually grease up every so often. That wears out to the point where it might end up actually, you don't keep it completely greased up. Eventually age will catch up to it and it could actually break, and you have to like take it into the shop, pull the disc off, get the bearing out, replace the bearing, put everything back together. That's part of maintenance. The maintenance and damage and stuff, yeah. You try to emulate that as much as possible, like how much damage, how much. Here's the tricky part. Sure, a little bit there. Here we go. I got pretty close to the water. You don't have access to land. Yeah, that's because I backed up forward for considered part of the trees. Eh. So you can kind of see if this gets a little bit closer here. I'll zoom in. You can see the spinning. Yeah, see? Spinning slightly, everything's spinning, rotating. So that must mean there's bearing joints and stuff that you have to keep maintained, greased up. Typically, it's you grease everything up, you go out to the field, and you cultivate for a day or something, or half the day, or something, depending on when you get started. Sometimes maybe it's you do it for half the day, and then when you come in for lunch or take a break for lunch, you go through and maybe go through all, like, I guess it'd be like they call them the grease nipples, where you actually hook the grease gun up to. Give a few shots of grease on all the joints, and it takes like a couple moments, and then you can continue on cultivating and plowing, whatever you're doing for the day, for the rest of the day, the afternoon. And then in the morning, you can start all over again. It helps prevent those costs because, yeah, if you're, instead of like spending 80, 200, something like 80 bucks, 200 bucks, 300, 500, whatever the cost is for parts on some of the things, depending on the part, instead of constantly always having to buy that, you buy like a $10 stick of grease and you keep the thing greased up and you don't have to buy parts that up. That's the maintenance. Now we're going to have to probably purchase a little maintenance shed here so that we can keep fixing and maintaining the equipment. Otherwise, when it gets closer to like a 100% damage, instead of being able to drive 15 kilometers an hour, it might slow down to like 8. Now, the equipment in this game will always continue to work, but what they've done for damage to like speed to whatever, you actually slow down the more damage you are. I've actually seen like where I've harvested at like 15 kilometers an hour. By the time I was done with the field, I was traveling like 8. Actually, I think the harvesters travel at 10, but yeah, like by the time I was done with the field, I was like 7 or 8 kilometers an hour. It's not much, but it makes a difference in how long it takes you to harvest the field. Cultivating, same thing. I'm going like 15. If I was to go to like 60 something damage, I might be going 13, 14. I'll probably do one more lap around and I can go up and down. So yeah, we'll have to decide what we're going to seed when we're done this. And also lime. Still doing water for today for plumbing. We're not going to grab our animals yet. So we have to decide, okay, are we going for animal feed this time around? Or should we do a cash crop to grab a couple more pieces of equipment and then do our animals? Let's figure that out. What shall we do? Anybody have a suggestion? Should we go cash first? Should we go feed? No thoughts? Okay, no. We'll have to go through what equipment we currently have, determine what we might need. So we'll probably start off with some sheep. And we'll need to probably grow grass. At least. Now, do we need hay? I'll have to relook at that. Go with sheep. Oh yeah, I was gonna say one more lap and then we'll go up and down. So we'll go up and down. That was a little bit more than one lap, but whatever. I find going in a circle, whether it's clockwise or counterclockwise, as long as you keep going the same direction, actually a bit faster than just having to turn around and go up and down. Because you only need to turn a little bit, not all the way around like 180 degrees. Just do like a 90-degree turn or a slight 45-degree angle, like, you know, curve it around. So like this, I just backed up a little bit, turned, and I'm ready to go again. We'll cultivate some more. Whereas if I wanted to turn this completely around, forward a little more. that up. I have to back all the way around. I have to go forward. Then I have to back up again. Takes a little bit of time. Drop down. If you have a larger area to turn around, you can just drive straight. If I do this, now that's a little bit wider from all the stuff I've done. You can lift up. You turn around. Drop it down. You can do it like that. That's about just as quick as doing a backup for the 70-degree turn. If you have enough room. If you don't have the room and you have to stop, back up, turn slightly, go forward, stop, back up with turning, or go forward turning, you know. You have to keep doing that. It takes a little while to do it, so. Of course, what I love about this game is it's just relaxing. Just drive up and down the field. If I'm streaming, I can talk with people, but there's sometimes when I do like my own personal game kind of for a farming simulator, I just sit back and maybe put on some music to listen to and just drive up and down the field. Just nice and relaxing. I've actually had times where I've actually hopped on like 8, 9 in the morning or something like that there, and before I realized it, I spent my entire day just relaxing playing the game. I've literally spent 10 hours doing it, and I was like, I gotta get up and actually do something. Those games I almost should have streamed. That would have been like, you know, a long stream, but during that time, like, of course, you know, get up, go eat, make food, go eat it, relax. You know, I would start like a kind of like a bought like a hired worker to do the work for me on a large field where it might be like, you know, seeding or something like that. And I would then get up and I'd go like, you know, make my food and stuff, come back, and things still actually doing a job. Like, I'd sit back down, either let the worker finish up and do something else, or I'd kick the worker off and go finish it up myself. Like, well, like, you know, once I was done eating or whatever type thing. But I like the fact that there's the developers building this game are, you know, slowly adding things that, you know, people have built mod for. Is like, I hope eventually that, like, I've barely used it, barely played it, but like seasons, I can see the potential in seasons, and I've barely even touched on it. I've spent so many hours in this game, and there's lots of stuff I haven't even done. So it'd be like adding things like, you know, it'd be awesome if they'd add in like some like gearbox or whatever. The tractors and equipment that my parents had were such that when you set, it's not like an automatic. Like, I know tractors nowadays, like, there's a lot of automatic tractors and stuff now. I guess you could say that we're old school, where in, say, the John Deere, you would set like it would have like something like 5 gears, but different. But it's not just only 5 gears. It's actually like a 15 gear, but there's a power takeoff that you set 1, 2, or 3. Now, 1 being the most powerful. So, like, you know, if you put like your gear in 1, it was probably like, you know, the best or so. But if you wanted to pick up just a little bit more speed, and lose a little tiny bit of power, you'd increase it to like, gear 1, power takeoff 2, or power takeoff 3. Now it's still in gear 1, so it's still a good towing gear, but you probably drop the power for more speed. Or you just like still keep the same power, but you increase the speed, and or however it was all set up. I don't know. You could tell the difference when you try to actually pulling a cultivator through. If you pumped it up to like on gear, say you're going down the field at like 5 or 6 kilometers an hour, maybe gear 2, power 2 or something. If you pumped up to 3, you can actually feel the tractor wanting to slow down or whatever, because maybe it's not as powerful. You think, oh, I'm going to increase speed, but because I'm pulling a cultivator in the ground making resistance, you might actually lose speed because you've lost a little bit of power, and the tractor struggles more. So you would drop it back down to 2 or power 1, and even though you're not going that fast, you can tell the tractor's not struggling. It's kind of things like that. That was the way I had tractors set up. So like we'd figure, like take a little bit of time, but once you figure out like, okay, going up down the field with the cultivator like I'm doing now, I might stick it on gear 2, power 2, and I would just set it for that and drive up and down the field. Set the throttle or the RPMs at about like it could have been like 1800 or 2000 or something RPMs, and you just drive up and down the field. And when you get to the end of the field, you lift the cultivator, you're still going pretty much the exact same speed. You might increase your speed by like 1 or 2 kilometers, because now you don't have something dragging in the ground, you lift it out of the ground. But you're still only going like 6-7 kilometers an hour down the field, maybe 10 or something. You turn around, drop it down, and go. If you want to control the speed, you then controlled your throttle a little bit, like lowered it down from 2000 to like 1500. Turn around, drop the thing down, pump the throttle back up to 2000, and just drive down the field. You didn't need to stop. It just kept going. Lift up, turn, drop down, go. Like, that's all it was. Now there's automatics and stuff, and I've never ever actually driven a tractor with an automatic. So I don't know how they work. Like I said, I'm not the expert on everything. I just know what worked for my parents, what I've experienced. I couldn't tell you like what's the best ratio of food for cattle. The only thing I remember from cows was every so often fed, like, broke up like a hay bale from like our alfalfa and stuff and fed it to the cows. Otherwise, I think they grazed on whatever wild grass that grew, weed. I don't even know if they ate weeds or what, but they were beef cows. It was just free range type thing. Well, free range as much as like the pen allowed them, but they would they were in a fenced field and they got to roam around. And if it got cold or windy or whatever, they could go in the barn. When they were hungry, they could go back outside. So they're free to do whatever they wanted, live and eat, and that's like pretty much it. That's as much as I know about cattle. But that they're also good to eat. I never had pigs, never had chicken, never had anything else, so animals for me was like, oh yeah, my uncle had a couple horses. I got to ride once or twice kind of thing. They never really got riding them much because they were my uncles. My time was either spent, being at home or motorbiking with a dirt bike, hanging out with like cats and dogs. Like we had one dog and like a couple cats, or like we called it the we never named our cats. We were a farm. We had what we called a mama cat. Every so often, giving birth to kittens and stuff like that there, and my dad would get rid of the kittens to other people, stuff like that. We left the cat around kind of thing. The cat rolled free. It was just like it would go hunt mice, go hunt gophers, go hunt whatever in the shop, stuff like that. So it was like a shop kitty, or roam around or whatever. Find other male cats, get pregnant, have more kittens. You know, living the life of a cat. I remember one time my dad told me a story kind of there. I happened to be, I think it was at school, and I heard about it when I got back there. Apparently my dad was cleaning, I think, the baler, or it was a combine or something, and he found like a mouse nest. A mouse ran out while he was cleaning out the baler combine or something there, and my dog chased it and actually got it. I don't know if he ate it or chewed it or whatnot, but apparently my dog got the mouse. A few moments, like it was not that long later, our mother cat came by with a gopher hanging out of her mouth. It was almost like she had upstaged my dog. Here's this, kind of, the size of the dog is like a terrier cocker spaniel, so like a small dog, like literally like 20 pounds, catching a mouse, probably all feeling all high and mighty. And then all of a sudden, this mother cat that's like, half the size carries a gopher that's like, 3 times the size of a mouse. Going, I did better. So, just thinking about that, just the size difference of like, this big mighty dog that's like, 25 pounds catches a mouse, while this 5-pound cat catches a gopher. Gotta love it. That's the kind of thing that, you grew up on as a farm. It's awesome. Lots of fun stories. So for like me, especially like a lot of times I took more of like dirtier jobs because I actually can enjoy myself on it. Like let's see here, harvesting, let's say barley. Well, you can sit in a nice air-conditioned tractor, go up and down the field, or you can sit in a dusty, dirty truck, because when the harvester went to unload in the truck, there was a lot of dust and dirt. And farms, my parents' farm did not have like a brand new awesome like grain truck or anything. This was a grain truck that when you had the windows rolled up, there was still gaps, or there was like a hole in the tiny hole in the floorboard or something like that there, where like the windows never shut all the way, or there's no door seal going around the door. So literally when the doors were shut, there was still dirt and dust coming into the cab of the truck. So dusty, dirty job. Now, I would sit there with actually my jugs of juice to drink, like Kool-Aid or whatever, and I would bring about 4 or 5 books. I would move the farm machinery, help get the thing unloaded. When the thing was full enough, I would take it to the grain bin to unload and go back out to the field, and I would sit in that dusty, dirty cab reading books. That's what I did. I got paid to sit there pretty much and almost nearly do nothing, but that was pretty awesome. Let's turn off those lights. Go to this tractor here. So we're done cultivating. So let's look at what we got. We got our seeder there. Go hook up. But what shall we grow? Since this is... we can't grow potatoes with this. We can't grow So what can we grow? Let's get it hooked up so we can see. Oh, looks like down the bottom right. It's hard to see some spot there. Let's see. We got wheat, barley, we got oats, canola, soybeans, oils of radish, grass, verma. That's that. This was added to this map by the original developer, vermihungras. And then this is what I've added: alfalfa, and I can't do my carrots, so probably going to lose a little bit of money on this, but I think I am going to check with one sheep. Okay, let's see here. See, they're all the same. We're not doing seasons, so if we move this to there, it's going to cost me $1,600. Lose a little bit of money. Okay, let's look at animals. Oh, my other thing is taking effect. Okay, so it still is. Hay and alfalfa hay, grass and alfalfa windrow. So the alfalfa hay that I built in, I made sure that it's not like a grain, so it's not like the vermihung grass where you can harvest it with the combine. You literally mow it down just like grass, and you let it dry. So we can do a field of that's just undried, like regular grass, and we can do a field where we dry it. And that's all we need. Okay, we can actually sell that sheep. We're not ready for sheep just yet. We're gonna lose about 600 bucks or 700 bucks or something here. So yeah, alfalfa hay. So we need hay. So let's grow that. Move that back. Move. Yeah, we'll have lost about $700. Ugh, but okay. So my other thing is still taking effect. Okay, gotta win. So let's select alfalfa hay. Now, what do we have in storage? Storage stuff here. Okay, starting a new game, we have some basic stuff. So we have a little bit of oats, a little bit of wheat, a little bit of barley. Since I've started alfalfa, we don't have any of the alfalfa straws and stuff. So here's like alfalfa, alfalfa hay, alfalfa silage, carrots. We got none of that, but we have some barley. So we could potentially, we have straw. Wait. Oh, we have some straw bales. That's what it is. We don't have straw. Won't list it, but we have some straw bales, so we could start with the horses just a little bit. Okay, we need alfalfa. Do you want to do all alfalfa, then add in oats? We should do at least that big field with oats. Do this one will be our alfalfa, and we won't dry it. Yeah, a little bit smaller. Oh yeah, we still need to fill the field. That's where we need to start spending a little bit of money. That. Now, I can buy a multi-fill kind of dispensary. So I could do something like this, where multi-filling station. So it costs a tiny bit extra, saying 10 to 50% on any crop. Unfortunately, with my adding of my own crops, I think these multi-filling stations don't charge me. Like if I had to buy, say, some alfalfa hay or whatnot for feeding the sheep, because it's a crop that I modded in, and this is a completely different mod, it doesn't know about that, and so it picks up the fact that I have alfalfa, but it doesn't have a price set in. So I end up buying free alfalfa and stuff. So it kind of, it's sure that sounds great and all, but it's not that realistic stuff. So the other option is where I think it's still under miscellaneous. No, it's back here. Big bag. I can buy a seed big bag and deliver it. I do have, I believe I bought the multi-silo last time here. Yes. Small silo multi-fruit. In theory, I could go buy a bunch of seed, load it into like the trailer, and deliver it there and just fill up there, which I might do. So in actual fact, let me repark this. Got to fill up. So we'll just bring this over here for a moment. Turn that off. We'll go to this tractor. Yeah, the unrealistic hookups. We're going to try this a little bit harder way. We are not going to get one of those multiple. See how well we can do and still save some money here. I've been playing this map a little bit, so by habit I always go up this road, never through there. Because this is where all the stuff starts. When you first buy something, it's in this area. If you buy too much and runs out of room, then it goes down to that area there. But it's always up here first. So we got pallets. 1800 for 1890. Here. That's 1400, but there's a little difference here. It's 2100 bulk pallet. See, that's the cheaper. Like this mod ended up being like a lot cheaper. Adding that in compared to the others. You can get a whole bunch of different things. Like I can buy my horse food, I can buy my sheep food, but it takes a little bit longer to fill. You'll see why shortly. Can that do? No, that's just 2100 for 890. So, and that's part of the default. We can do big bags. This is the default stuff. Got no mods for that. So pallets. Single bags of $5. Seed pallet. How about the bulk seed pallet? It's 42. That'll be a lot for a little cedar here. So you can see it there. See, it appeared right there. Typically, you would just you know, use the forklift or pallet loader or something like that there to load it onto a flat deck truck and deliver it to bring it to the farm. But we'll need a flat deck a little bit later. I'm just going to pretending that I am under a grain auger or something at a seed place and I'm buying seed. Yeah, I'll stick with that story. It's for fun anyways. But in actual fact, what my parents did was they had their grain truck. Not quite a trailer like this, but an actual, like, you know, 3-ton trucker or something like that there, 5-gear high-low, something like that there. And they would drive to the seed place, park underneath where the seed, and it would just be like unloading into a trailer from like a grain bin. You literally park underneath the spout, and it fills up the truck with however much seed you want or pay for or whatnot there. And then when you get to the farm, you can actually attach. We had a little hydraulic auger that we would actually put. It would attach to the side of, like, inside the box, and you could have a hose and stuff, and you pull up the seeder next to the truck and use the hydraulic auger to siphon out some of the seed and put it into the seeder. So, but for this case, what we're going to do, since we don't have like attachments like that in the game here, think of it as like those power wagons or something here. Like it would. Okay, let me see here. We go to here, auger wagon. This has like a little auger built into the thing. Can't see it from the inside, but the auger goes down in there, and this is a little hopper, and you can unload things. But for the grain truck, if you took belt systems, nope. Maybe miscellaneous, might be under miscellaneous. I don't know if I have any installed. Doesn't look like I have anything left, but oh, yeah, that's all belt systems. I don't have any installed. But there's a grain auger if you ever look it up, like grain augers and stuff. Yeah, it's the basically you stick it inside there so you can suck it out. It's like sucking with like a vacuum. You suck it out of it, you auger it out, you pull it out, and then you dump it into the seeder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to load the seeds up here. There we go. Store my seeds. Trailer away. I don't have flat deck truck for bales. Yeah, I held them all one at a time off the field. It's rather annoying, but since I didn't have a flat deck truck or trailer, that's what I'm stuck with. Shut up. I don't know if I can do this, but go back to our seeder. You see, oh, some work has been done there already. 11 o'clock in the morning here. Let's open that cover. Now this seeder also does not fertilize, but that's why we got fertilizer sprayer. Seed, 4,200. Still 1,000. I stuck only with 4,200. I only bought the 2,100, but I think I need just over that with all the fields. Start with Alfalfa and see where we go from here. Up for Alfalfa, so let's get seeding. Yeah. Does this seeder actually have PTO? Nope. I think the seeder my dad had was similar to this one, but it was probably more designed like, where's my seeder? Right here. More like this, Stara. It wasn't a Stara, but I swear it had two compartments. It was just like, one lid. You open one lid and it was separated into two compartments. I have a feeling it could have actually been like, for dry fertilizer or something like that, but never got used. It was kind of, my dad used it for strictly seeding. You did, yeah, like fertilizing other ways. Of course, we always, my dad always did with treated seed. So the seed, like barley or wheat seed or whatever, would always be pink. Pink, you wonder? Why is that? Well, the treated seed had I think it was like an herbicide, pesticide treatment put on it, which actually it ended up coloring the seed pink. Which means it was poisonous, so you did not want to touch with your bare hands. So hence why we use things like, augers, stuff like that to load up the seeder, or you'd use shovels or something. It was because, well, you didn't want like mice eating the seeds and stuff like, you're planting seeds. Well, mice and birds, but like planting seeds. Poisoning them usually actually made it so that they didn't eat it. And if they did, well, bad things happen. Because, well, mice for us farmers are a bad thing. Same with gophers. Gophers, well, what they tend to do is, of course, they dig holes, they tunnel, they do whatever. And they destroy crops, destroy things. Mice get into everything. They'll eat the crops, they'll get into bags and stuff, they'll get into grain bin. And of course, they leave their droppings behind and stuff, which actually affect food, affects the grain. So it's not good. Seems cruel, but that's the way it is. So yeah, we take care of things like that. So. like what I was speaking before, like with grain augers and stuff like that. Yeah, we had that hydraulic special one that would go into the back of the truck, especially if we're doing seeding. When we're harvesting, we didn't need to use that because, well, we're dumping into like we had like a grain auger that would go from where the truck dumped. We'd actually have this little hopper bowl, plastic hopper bowl that we'd dump into, and the auger would take the seed up to the top of the grain bin, because that's where the hatch is. Once you start filling the grain bin, you have to close the door or else the grain will spill out the door of the grain bin. And of course, you can't fill it from the bottom up, so you fill it from the top. So, yeah, grain augers, we fill it from the top. Now that kind of setup really isn't in game here. We have like those dump plates where you saw me dump over there. That would be like those permanent buildings and stuff where you would dig out a hole and stuff and cement it, everything like that. Put covers and stuff so you can close it so the rain weather can't get at. But down in the bottom there would be like an auger that would take that grain up go up a pipe pretty much up the side of the grain bin to the top and then it would drop in from the top. Well, we didn't have silos like that at our farm. We just had the grain bins and we used augers. And when one grain bin got full, you just moved the auger to the next bin. So you didn't need to have a auger for each individual grain bin. Or have those setups where you have like, one unload point and it would siphon off to whatever grain bin you decided to have the auger empty. We just did them like one at a time. Same auger, you just move it, reset it up, start dumping, start loading. So it was lots of fun. That's what we did. Now, there's other people, like I've seen some videos on YouTube and stuff, like the millennial farmer, things like that. I'm sure some people have heard that. They have that huge grain silo system kind of thing there, where they have multiple grain silos and multiple hoses and stuff like that. There's lots of people, sure, that did that. Our farm, however, was a smaller farm. We did not do that. We had a couple different grain augers, and we would literally move it one grain bin at a time. That was all we did. Let's see, what else we did on our farm? Oh. We didn't have that big of equipment and stuff there, so let's see. Probably some of our biggest, I think, would be considered like 6 meter to 10 meter, something like that, depending on the equipment. We weren't huge, but we weren't small either. What would be like, I guess, our Alfalfa hay swather was the New Holland swather. Well, we called it a swather. Think of it as like, I guess, a mower. Basically, a table that cut things. Kind of like a combine table that will straight cut, mixed with a mower. So literally, yeah. It would cut down the alfalfa hay, spit it out into a windrow. And we had a New Holland one. It was yellow and stuff there. Now I think it was probably close to 12.5 feet or something. Whatever, roughly 50 feet to divided by 4 was. Minus a tiny little bit type thing, because well, our border dikes were 50 feet apart, but that was, let's see, 50 feet center point to center point. Since we were scraping them in, it looked like a long row of like a pyramid. It was a triangle. So the top of the center peak to the next top of the center peak was about 50 feet. I think by the end of it, like how big that thing wasn't that tall. It's like maybe a 10 inches tall, or something like that. Mound a little bit of dirt that ran the length of the field. So 50 divided by 4 is roughly 12.5. And that's about the table width the swather was. You cut 4 rows. That. Fucking CD. I think that does it there. Barely used any seed. No. First one. Well, that one. I'm gonna do alfalfa for this one. Let's see here. If we decide to do animals and stuff, we may have to, go with let's seed up this field here, and I'll do some figuring and planning, and decide what to call it. Made that really close to that. I think we're going to need a little bit of cash here. We have a little bit of oats. We have some stuff that we could potentially sell. We should have at least one cash crop. Do have a combine, do have a trailer, so we can sell some stuff. May just go with something like, we can grab a quick soybean crop or canola crop just to make some cash quick. And use that little bit of oats and stuff for the horses. I think that's what we're going to do, at least just one time, since we already have that oat harvest we initially got off at the start of the game. So I think what I am going to do is decide to do a canola field. Finish off this with alfalfa. Yeah. So yeah, I'll finish this off camera with alfalfa and get that field number 2 with let's see, what do we want? Canola or soybean? Let's see what's a good price here. Soybeans are kind of going up, but that might fluctuate tomorrow. Canola here. Between soybeans and canola from like game mechanics and stats and stuff and programming You get a little bit more yield out of the canola, not by much, but it's just enough to offset, like, you know, the canola was like 1,200. Well, you know, the soybeans could be like 1,300, 1,400. There's just enough difference that the crop ends up being about the same value when you sell the same field. Like if I grow on field 2 canola, sell it, if I sold it say for 20,000 and I harvested, I don't know, like 10,000 liters off it or something. Well, soybeans, I might harvest 8,000, but because the price is just up a little tiny bit, just that little bit higher, I might get the same $20,000 price. So just what you want to decide to do. Like both canola and soybeans don't leave straw behind, whereas if you do like the wheat, barley, or oats, wheat and barley, you get more liters than you would do for canola or soybeans, and you get straw. But of course the price is lower, so you end up saving, like, you know, if you got $20,000 for it, well, you'll get a little extra off of wheat and barley by putting in more work because of the straw. You harvest that straw, you pick it up, you sell it, you get more money. Not much, but it's more. So it's worth a little bit of the work, but you first need a little bit more stuff. Like you'll either need a loading wagon to pick it up loose, or a baler to bale it, and then, you know, the equipment to load the bales, haul the bales, stuff like that. But if you have all that equipment, it's kind of worth it to work with the straw and sell the straw. Grass, however, is you mow it down, you harvest it, it's just strictly for loose or bales. You can either use as grass or hay, or dry or hay, or silage it, whatever type thing. But you don't get like the combine to like grain off or seeds off and then sell this straw later. It's strictly you get that without any seeds. However, the vermihung grass in this particular map that was added in by the original developer, I don't even know who that is. I just liked the map and decided to play around with it, mod it, have fun with it. For myself only. But it's like a barley. You harvest it with a combine, you get all the seed, you can sell the seed for pretty good money. And what's left behind is a windrow. Well, it's not straw, it's grass. You get a grass windrow, so you can actually bale up the grass or dry it just like grass to make a hay windrows. You could take that grass, if you want it as grass, to a silage pit, silage it. You can do anything with it because it's the crop. The way it was programmed was instead of like some sort of special straw or special anything, it's literally a wild grass with seeds. So you plant it, you grow it, you harvest the seeds, and then the leftover grass, you bale it all up and stuff. And of course on this map it's actually pretty good money. It comes with the map, it's not something extra mod. So my little additions for alfalfa hay, that's something I added to the map, so the original map does not come with it. You can get something similar by Maize Plus or something like that. There you get similar things added in. Other maps might have this alfalfa, which I think I've snagged some data from other maps and stuff like that. I was just playing around. It was fun. I took some programming from like the Maize Plus so I could incorporate it into other things. I took like the alfalfa and skins and stuff like that from other maps. Oh, I've done like the animal portions and stuff. That was part of what I was doing with, I think it was the Maize Plus and stuff there. I'd still love to grab the one baler and kind of like the baler attachment with the straw add-on harvest, and just like, you know, I might eventually look at it. I'll rip it out, like pull it out of that straw add-on harvest, and just kind of make my own little personal mod just for strictly for myself, just so I could have the baler. Baler with wings. That's what I liked about it. The fact that you could bale. I explained, I think, in an earlier video there. Was it episode 1 or 2 or something there? Where, yeah, the drawbar pushes the bale from one side to the other. You hear all about it. That's what we had for my parents' farm. Baler that did that. Now, it's not an attachment. It was actually part of the baler. It was all one piece. Like, there's no, like, you know, oh, you can attach it later or detach it. No, it was built with the idea that the baler can then, you'd run up and down the field, and you could load up 2 extra bales while you're making a third, and that way you could potentially carry the already made bale to the end of one end or the other, the top and bottom of the field, so it gets off the field, and you dump them at the ends. If you dump them at the ends, well, then a tractor, like our loader and stuff, and truck or hauling off the field wouldn't have to be driving up and down the fields all over the place. You just start at one end of the field, at the, say, the bottom or something like that, load all the bales, move to the top end of the field, load and stack all the bales. It's like right there, you bring the truck and tractor there, and you just move down the head of the field or the bottom of the field, just keep going. It's a lot faster, saves time. All balers should have that. That's my opinion, of course, but yeah. So yeah, I will finish this off here, and I will call it a day. I've enjoyed chatting here. Hope you've enjoyed watching as well. If you have, please like and subscribe and stuff. I will figure out an actual proper schedule here for doing the farming simulator. Although, yeah, just have to figure out. And hopefully we'll see you the next time here. Once I get it all figured out, then I'll have a regular schedule here. I'm just gonna fit in the farming simulator when I can. I'll stream live, and I'll download, and I'll post the episode to YouTube, so you can watch all, like, you know, what we've done from past till now. This will be episode number 3. I'll get episode number 4 as soon as I can get to it, which will finish off, I guess it would be considered finishing off today. It's already 1300 by time-wise, 5 speed, and we've seeded 2 fields, and cultivated, let's see, plowed 1, we cultivated 2, and we're seeded 2, and we're almost done for the day. We might not get field number 2 seeded, but we'll see what happens here. I will try to seed it off camera there and get it all done, so that we become, like, I guess, actually, you know what, I'll just stop here, finish this field off, and stop here. Yeah. What do we have? Yeah, we're almost done this field. So, are you enjoying so far? Is there anything you'd like to see or hear about, or have any questions? Am I, like, too quiet? Maybe there's too much of a delay, something lagging, I don't know. Love to hear more, some feedback on how my stream is. Until I finish this field, sit back, relax, probably enjoy some peace and quiet. Enjoy the sound of the tractor. Looks like I missed a couple spots. I'll go back and catch up. This way. You can see I started going off a little bit. Whoops. Quiet driving. Yeah, driving up and down the fields. Growing up, always enjoyed listening to like my country music and stuff, or whatever I could listen to. We had one radio station that was somewhat local. The town was half an hour away from us, like a small little city town. Had an AM radio station that closed down, just not enough. I guess it'd be like weren't making enough money from like, you know, advertisements, local businesses and stuff like that. So it's just like, yeah. So it got closed down, but it was like my favorite radio station. During the day, you could hear about the news, hear about weather, stuff like that. And then the rest of the time, they would play country music kind of thing there until they did their, you know, back to their news and stuff. But it would be like maybe like every hour or every couple hours or something. I rather enjoyed it. Otherwise, I think the only other radio station that I ever probably listened to, yeah, I think it was like a news talk radio type thing. Didn't listen to that very often as a kid. I listen to it more as an adult now, but even then I don't listen as much as you think. I kind of go through little phases when listening to radio. I'll either, you know, do nothing but like, you know, country music or classic rock or dance music or something. Or if I get tired of that, I switch over to news talk radio, and then I listen to nothing but news talk radio in the car until I get finally tired of that and go back to music. For my driving up and down the field, I am using the Logitech steering wheel. It's the PlayStation kind of like 3/4 version steering wheel with the Logitech shifter and the Farming Simulator control panel. Before I was using this, I guess when I was doing Farming Simulator 13 quite a few years ago, I didn't play Farming Simulator as much as I play Farming Simulator now. I played 13. I put quite a few hours into it, but not near as much because, well, let's see. It was my mouse and keyboard. That's all I had. There's a little rough steering kind of thing there. I purchased Farming Simulator 17 and played a bit of it kind of thing there, but again, I was doing mouse and keyboard stuff, and I found controls rather hard. I just wasn't quite into the game, even though it was a really good game. Just felt a little off or whatever. I don't know what. I can't actually put anything to it. It's just, yeah. To me, that just wasn't quite a perfect fit here. Farming Simulator 19, the way they've changed, the way they've upgraded, the way that I don't know what it is. I love it. Now, there's lots of people that love 17. Lots of people that love 13 stuff. 13 is what got me started. Never played 15. Actually, played 13 so much there, and then when I kind of got tired of it, like the moment like I was taking a break from it, I actually forgot about my Farming Simulator because, you know, to me it was relatively new. Just something just like, oh, novelty, it's fun, yay. Well, yeah. I'm going to call it here. I will come back and we will probably, I'll figure out what I want to do for cash. I think I'm going to do a canola field because we have to get a few things. What do we got? The harvester. We got our hopper for hauling the grain off, our plower, cultivator. See, we can spray or liquid fertilize. We could solid fertilize, but we can't lime. So I need to buy that's a straw blower, which I will probably end up setting up in the horses. So we need to purchase a fertilizer wagon, which is another 39,000. And if we do lots of bales, we will need a baling technology, so like a flat deck baler or something. Another 17,000. So we're past the 50,000 already. So we need a cash crop. So, and then we can get to our alfalfa. We can sell all the other crops we have in the. We'll do canola. Come back and seed canola, and then we will probably start working on selling all the other stuff. So let's save this. I know there's an autosave. We'll manually save it. And we will call it here, and we'll pick up the next time. And a little bit there, I've got to make sure I get like for my own home life here, supper cooked and everything, because I hop on my World of Warcraft raid, and about 3 hours is our start time. So I gotta get some of my house stuff done and get supper done and get ready for that. So I will see if I'm available this Saturday to stream the Farming Simulator. If not, it'll probably be some point there again, like might be again like next week today. We'll see. Try to fit it in if I can. So if I can fit it in, then I'll be able to start figuring out the schedule that I need to do. So until then, you have a nice day. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed it, like, subscribe. Feel free. There's no not necessary. If you feel like donations, I will accept them. That'll help me get things to continue on. Anything that is donated, I will put towards the stream. I.e., I'd rather try to replace my headset with an actual microphone. Some other YouTubers and stuff I've seen use it. I'm like, that would actually be great. I can take off the headset, I can actually hear the game sounds better myself, because right now, to me, it sounded like there was absolutely no tractor humming, because I'd have to actually literally for myself crank it up. But I'm sure it was loud enough for you guys, I hope. If not, let me know. Please comment and like videos. I will actually, as soon as I'm off here, push the Twitch video to YouTube, my channel. Which, if you would like my YouTube channel, let me go to it and I'll get it to you. My YouTube channel is the same as, well, kind of like my Twitch. It is Masher1977. My Twitch is Masher1977. I've got a bunch of videos that I post from like World of Warcraft. Yes, a lot of it is repeats, but it's a kind of a progression style documentary from like way back in like, January, February, when I started streaming all this stuff, to like, if you were to watch like a Nax run back then and watch the Nax run now, you'll see there's a big difference in how well our cooperation is going, and of course, better gear, stuff like that. And I'm hoping to do this farming progression with you all as well. So you can see, and I'm hoping like by the time this new Woodshire, my modded version, is all said and done, if you guys rather enjoyed it, I would be willing to start another map. Might not be modded, but I can hop on another map and just start doing a farm there. We could do something different. We could buy different farm machinery, stuff like that. Do different things. Maybe I'll set up like, it'd be like, okay, I'm starting a potato farm and I'll have all the potato equipment. What do you guys like? What do you guys think? Let me know. Make comments and I'll check them out. Again, thanks for watching. I hope to see you next time. Laters.